Welcome. You didn't come here for content. You came because something in your spirit knows. The person you've been cannot carry what God is trying to entrust to you. Not in marriage, not in mission, not in leadership. You've done your best to be a good man, a good woman. But today you'll see that good may actually be the most dangerous disguise of ego. It keeps us polite, but powerless caring, but compromising loyal, but lifeless. Let me say this clearly up front. This is not a coaching pitch wrapped in a challenge. This is a sacred path, and there will be an invitation at the end of this week. But not for everyone. Not everyone will see it. Only those who apply and are ready to walk deeper will be invited to see what's behind that final door, and that's by design, because what we're building here, it's not just life-changing, it's bloodline-changing. And not everyone is ready for that fire. If something in you is already burning, pay attention. Today begins the death that sets you free. Let's begin. The masks come off now.
I was taught to be steady, be kind, play it right, hold her close without the fight. But I gave and I gave till my soul disappeared. Love like a servant, still lost what I feared. They called me a good man, said I did all I could, but my crown gathered dust where a king once stood. She didn't need nice, she needed a real, not a man who performs, but a man who can feel. I chased her fire, but I lost my flame. Built a world while I forgot my name. Then you came in the wreckage and the ash and the end and said, son, now's the time, let the fire begin. From good man to God man, I ride. I buried Adam in the dirt, let the mask fall with the hurt. No more shame, no more blame, no more plan B. From good man to God man, let the counterfeit die so the king in me can breathe. From good man to God man, I was sent, not selected, I'm a God man. I let the fire make me free. From good man to God man, I rise. I remember her fire, cut like a knife, but now I see it was carving new life. She mirrored the places I didn't want seen, demanded the man, not the broken machine. I'm not here to be safe, to be praised, to be sweet. I'm here to hold glory at the soles of my feet. So I speak with truth and I stand in flame, and I love like a lover who ain't playing no game. Yeah, I used to shrink, I used to hide, but now I bleed presence and I breathe in the bride. You gave me the sword, you gave me the ring. You said, take your throne, son, let her feel the king. From good man to God man, I ride. I buried Adam in the dirt, let the mask fall with the hurt. No more shame, no more blame, no more plan B. From good man to God man, let the counterfeit die so the king in me can breathe. From good man to God man, I was sent, not selected, I'm a God man. I let the fire make me free. From good man to God man, I rise. I'm done asking to be chosen. I was made to carry heaven. Not just for me, but for my son, for my queen, for the legacy to come. Let the silence be broken, let the fire fall. Let the boy in me die so the father can call. I don't flinch in the heat, I don't beg to be seen. I wear the weight, I lead the dream. From good man to God man, I rise. I buried Adam in the dirt, let the mask fall with the hurt. No more shame, no more blame, no more plan B. From good man to God man, let the counterfeit die so the king in me can breathe. From good man to God man, I was sent, not selected, I'm a God man. I let the fire make me free. From good man to God man. Let the fire fall.
Jonathan used to be a good man. Worked hard, showed up, tried to do everything right, loved his family, stayed out of trouble, pursued success like his soul depended on it. He wore the mask of a provider, a protector, a performer, and yet he was dying on the inside, not from laziness or failure, but from the pressure of never feeling like enough. See, when you spend your life trying to be perfect, trying to fix everything, trying to prove you're worthy of love, you lose who you really are. You become a polished version of a man, but not a forged one. Then everything starts to break. The relationship Jonathan thought he had to protect at all costs began to collapse. His business, which had once made him feel powerful, became a pressure cooker of unmet expectations. His mom, who called him her superhero, was dying. And no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't fix it. That's when he died, too. Not physically, but spiritually, the image he had been clinging to. The good man was crucified. He lost the mask. He lost the striving. He lost the illusion, and something rose in its place. A fire, a presence, a man who no longer needed to perform because he remembered who he was, not just a good man, a God man. Today, Jonathan doesn't coach men. He forges them, not into better versions of their past, but into leaders of their destiny through fire, not fluff, through brotherhood, not band-aids, through crucifying the counterfeit so the God-man within can rise. Because he's seen what happens when men stay stuck in the good guy game. They break down, they burn out, they blow up. But when they rise as God men, they lead, they love, they live with peace, power, and presence. This isn't therapy, this isn't hype, this is sacred fire. And if you're ready to walk into it, he'll walk with you, not to fix you, but to forge you. So if you're ready, give Jonathan a huge round of applause, and let's welcome him to the stage.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the God Man Challenge, the first time we've ever done this one. It is going to be transformational, as all of our experiences and events are. It's not tips and tactics. This is transformation. And so this week is designed to completely transform who you are from the inside out. At the end of these 5 days, you will not be the same person as you are today. So welcome, everyone. You could be anywhere doing anything. You chose to be here. I honor you. I appreciate you. And I thank you for that. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Welcome, everybody there in the village, I see. And then we got all the people online. I got Larry and Michael and Frank and Hunter and Harry and John and Chad and Yarixa, I think I said it right, and Cole and Nisa and Donna and Gioti and Kay and Brittany and Bradley and Tammy and Mel and Brian and Cheryl and Open Hearted, and there's probably more coming on their way. So thank you all again for being here. So Who here has ever felt like you've been doing everything right, but still felt unseen, unheard, or unfulfilled? Raise your hand. Awesome. Thank you. Who's ever watched someone you love slowly lose their fire while trying to keep the peace? Say aye. Thank you. And who's ready to stop performing for love and start living from truth, even if it costs you comfort? Say yes. All right. Welcome to the God Man Challenge. So, what are we going to be doing here? So, this is day one. And on day one, we're going to have a different theme each day. So, this one is all about killing the good man, killing the good woman. Because our whole life, that's what we were taught we were supposed to be. We're going to be exposing the Adam and Eve operating system, the one that was handed down to us, the sin-based opportunity or operating system. Sin is not an action to be punished. It's the perception to be corrected. It's a perceived separation from God. So we inherited a perceived separation from God from Adam and Eve when they bit into the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. When God created everything, he said it is good. And then there was a tree that they could eat freely of every tree. They could have everything. The only thing that was lacking was lack. They walked right on past everything to get to the nothing of this tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But when God created everything, he said it's what? It's good. So that means there is no such thing as evil. There is no such thing as bad, but they traded in what is for what isn't. They traded in love for fear. And so when they bit into that fruit, now they left their heart and they went into their head and they became judge. And they judge themselves as not enough. And it says, do not judge and you will not be judged. With the measure you used, it will be used back to you. Why with the measure you use? Because you're the one measuring. And Adam and Eve kicked themselves out of the garden. God is sitting there like, hey, you can come on home. I mean, Jesus told the story of the prodigal son. All you got to do is just say you're sorry and come on back. That's it. But we do the wrong thing so long, the right thing feels wrong. We're working so hard to be good people that we're missing. We can't even see because you can't see the picture when you're inside of it. So we can't even see the pathway home because we're so dead certain about what we think it is. We think it's being a good man. We think it's being a good woman. If we can just be good enough, we can learn or earn our way into heaven, but it doesn't work that way. So we were handed down that operating system of not enough. It's a scarcity mindset. It's not enough on the outside because it appears without, though it is within. We look on the outside and we said it's not enough out there because this world is just our mirror because we don't feel like we're enough. And we're trying to figure out how to become enough so we're trying to make it be enough. And we're thinking it's going to be enough if we can just be enough. If we can just be good enough, work hard enough, try hard enough, then our woman's going to love us. Our children are going to love us. They're all going to appreciate us. But that's not the way that it works because where you're coming from is where you're going. We've been coming from lack and we're heading to lack. We're heading to lack. And so today we're going to kill the good man. We're going to kill the good woman. And we're exposing that operating system that is flawed. We were born into sin. We were born in that operating system was implanted into us. And we need an entirely new operating system. We're not going to get the new operating system today. We're going to expose the old operating system. On day 3 is when we completely demolish that old operating system. And then on day 4, we replace it with the new true operating system, the one that God created for us before that we already had before we replaced it with the Satan operating system in the garden. So there is one identity shift. How many? One. There is one identity shift that you have not yet embodied. And when you do, it changes everything. And so the most important thing that you can walk away with today is that being a good man or a good woman is killing you and those around you. And you have to stop it now. Stop it when? Stop it now. So what's the most important point? What do you have to stop doing? Being a what? Good man or a good woman. And I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds wrong. We do the wrong thing so long, the right thing feels wrong. What do you mean I got to stop being a good man? Stop being a good woman. I promise you, I've learned it. There's only one way to learn. It's through failure. But the caveat is it doesn't have to be your failure. You can learn from someone else's. I failed horribly, miserably, as hard as you can possibly fail because of this one thing right here. And so I'm sharing this with you because I've transcended what many people are running full speed ahead at a wall and don't even know it's a wall. And so I see Hunter's on here right now. This is definitely for you, Hunter. You got to kill that good man. Hunter was at the Last Remember experience, and I was talking about killing the good man, and he just, how dare you? He didn't really say it like that, but he was like, he bowed up, and then he starts trying to teach the men how to be good men. And Mel's going to be on later on today. So we're going to do the first segment. I'm going to be sharing the first section. We're going to go for an hour where I'm going to be sharing like what we're going to be receiving today. And then I'm going to bring Mel in and we're going to do Q&A. We're going to do breakthroughs with people. But anyway, Hunter stood up and started sharing, and then Mel let him have it. She's like, dude, screw you, man. You're trying to imprison people, because that's what a good man does. A good man imprisons people. It's a whore. A good man is a whore, giving to get. So I'll give you this if you give me that. I'll be good to you if you be good to me. And that doesn't work. All it does, and he might not even say that. He might say, I'm going to be good to you anyway. But even though he's saying I'm going to be good to you anyway, he's still waiting for his good back. And so he might not be conscious of it, but he's still waiting for it. When am I going to get mine? When's somebody going to be good to me? I've been so good for so long. When are they going to give it back to me? But it's never going to work, because where you're coming from is where you're going. It appears without, though it is within. You've got lack on the inside, so you're always going to have lack on the outside. It's never going to happen that way. So we're going to kill the good man, kill the good woman. We're exposing that operating system. And so the most important point that you can walk away with today is that being a good man, a good woman is killing you and everyone around you that you think you're helping, you're hurting. Being a good man and a good woman is killing people. And you have to stop it now. So we got to chant today. We're going to chant this out. We're going to say, no more mask, no more roll. I'm not here to fix, I'm here to be whole. So y'all repeat after me. 1, 2, or I'll just shout it out. No more mask, no more roll. I'm not here to fix, I'm here to be whole. Say it again. No more mask, no more roll. I'm not here to fix, I'm here to be whole. No more mask. No more roll. I'm not here to fix, I'm here to be whole. No more mask. No more roll. I'm not here to fix, I'm here to be whole. That's what we're gonna ground into today. We're gonna get that. That's not just, we're not gonna be saying it. So to know and not to do is not to know. We're gonna go from, we're getting in our head, and it's gonna go all the way down into our heart. And this is the thing we're walking away with today. So there's two classes of people. There's amateurs and there's masters. Amateurs are those who perform. Who do what? They perform. And the masters, those are the ones who burn. What do the masters do? They burn. You're not trying to hold everything together. Master does not try to hold together. The amateur, the little boy, tries to hold everything together. The master does not try to hold everything together. The master does nothing yet leaves nothing undone, because he's coming from the space of it's all done already. And so he burns, he lets it all burn, because that fire that is around him and in him, it's a forge. And when that all burns off around him and in him, the only thing that's left is the truth. When you go into the forge, the only thing that's going to last on the other side of that forge is the truth. And the truth sets you free. What sets you free? The truth. So most people, men and women, they lead from performance, not from presence. Everybody find yourself in that. Men and women, they lead from performance, not presence. And, to the degree, you can't see the picture when you're inside of it. So you're, you're not aware to the depth of which you're doing this. You might have an awareness of doing it, but the depth of which you're doing it, you're not aware of. So, leading from performance, not from presence. The master leads from presence. The amateur leads from performance. They're doing. A amateur is doing. They're building new strategies, tactics, and tools to do it better. And it's a surface level thing. They're performing, but they're not even present to who they are on the inside. Because once you get present to who you are on the inside, you're no longer reacting to reality. You are responding to truth. And you have an ability to respond to reality because you're responding to truth. You're responding to God. You're taking orders from headquarters. You're present as the royalty, a royal identity as a child of God. You're present. That inside of you says, seek first the kingdom. The kingdom of God is within you. You seek first that kingdom. You get within, and then from within, it's already done. And then you're present with God inside of yourself. And then from that place, you're present with God around you. And God is now using you. A lot of people say they're waiting on God, because when you start to really follow the God path, you're like, well, okay, God's in charge of everything. So I guess I'm just supposed to let him do everything. Well, yes, let heaven do everything, but God's not going to do things for you. He's going to do things through you. Everybody say that. God doesn't do things for me. He does things through me. And so people think they're waiting on God, but God's waiting on them. He's not really waiting, but he's being, and you're just missing it. So you're about to see why the life that you long for, the marriage, the mission, the impact, it's way easier than you think, or at least simpler. But it is absolutely impossible at your current level of embodiment. Because willpower will never overpower your subconscious beliefs about yourself. Let's all say that together. Willpower will never overpower my subconscious beliefs about myself. And so everything that you've been yearning for, everything that you've dreamed of, the marriage, the mission, the impact, the legacy, all of that, it's simpler than you think, but it's completely impossible with the identity that you are operating from right now. And until you transform that identity, you're always going to be a hamster on a wheel, trying to get the carrot, but it's always going to be just out of reach. And maybe you might think you got it for a moment, and then poof, it's just falls out of your hands because it was a mirage. It was magic. You made yourself think you had something, but you didn't actually have it. Until your identity is shifted, you can't have it. Because there's a difference between wanting something and being ready to receive it. How you know you're ready to receive it is when you realize it's here now, always has been, and always will be. But you can never realize that until you enter into your eternal self. Because in time it takes time, but in eternity it's already done. We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And so you've got to get to your true self, the spiritual being that is having a human experience. And then you're walking by faith, not by sight. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for, the substance of things not yet seen. Faith is believing it. It's not just believing it before you see it. It's knowing it. It's knowing it before you see it. You already know that it's done before it's done in time. And so you're going to be coming from that eternal self. And when you come from that place, it's done already. So there's a difference between wanting something and being ready to receive it. How you know you're ready to receive it is when you realize it's here now, always has been, and always will be. I am is the name of God. Do not use the Lord's name in vain. Vain means that it doesn't produce any fruit. Most people are using the Lord's name in worse than vain because they are producing fruit, but it's negative fruit. They're saying, I am, and then all kinds of negative things on the other side of that. I'm stupid, I'm not enough, whatever the things are. And that's created. So you're taking the full power of God, the name of God, the full power of God, and using it against yourself, using it to destroy his child. So don't do that. From now on, we're using the I am, God's name, to restore order within and without. And so once you have this identity shift that I'm offering here, you're going to have peace, power, presence. All those things are going to be automatic. It's like, if I came to you and said, I hate your pink polka dotted socks, but you're not wearing pink polka dotted socks, it doesn't affect you. You just think I'm crazy. And so if somebody says you're stupid or you're not enough or you're, failure or whatever, if it has anything anybody says to you that has any impact on you negative impact on you on the inside, it's because it's resonating with you. There's something in you that you still believe that to be about yourself. So it would never even cross my mind to, like, if somebody, like, I don't have to worry about, I'm trying to think something, I'm not worried if there's some crack laying in front of me that I'm going to, oh no, I'm going to do the crack and now I'm going to take me into a spot. I'm not going to do any crack. I'm not a crackhead. I don't have crackhead identity anywhere in here. So that's not going to happen. But if someone is operating as a crackhead and then there's some crack sitting right there in front of them, they have to get it. And so once that identity is shifted, then you're not afraid of the thing, I don't want that thing around me, and you're no longer trying to get anything. You're just walking from a presence. And so there's a thing that we do, a resistance release process, where we let go of the fear, we let go of the desire, because they're holding each other up. If you have a fear of something, like, I don't want this to happen, the one who's afraid that could happen is the one that could happen to. But the one who's afraid that it could happen doesn't even exist. That's not a child of God. That's a child of Satan. Because if God is for me, who can be against me? No one. God is the creator of everything. And so when you work for God, God works for you. And there's nothing that can hurt you. There's nothing that can attack you. And so if you have any fear, perfect love casts out all fear. Those who have fear have not been perfected in love. Those who've not been perfected in love don't know who they are yet. They're still operating as a false self in their Adam and Eve operating system. And so Jesus says, if you want to enter the kingdom, you have to be born again. It's a death and a resurrection. It's a death of who you're not, and then a resurrection of who you are. And that's what we're going to experience over these 5 days. It's the first 3 days we're dialing into death. And then day 4, we resurrect. Day 5, we walk in the garden. So so you've been told to be a good man, you've been told to be a good woman, but these identities, those are fig leaves. Those are covering up they're covering something up. Every time you're trying to be, because you're still living in the world of duality. You still believe there's a such thing as bad. If you're trying to be good, you still believe there's a such thing as bad, which means you're still living in the illusion world. You're still chomping on the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. You're in duality. Duality doesn't exist except in illusions. And so, there's karma in duality. Like there's a debt that you got to pay for every action. There's a consequence in karma. But when you're operating from the truth in heaven, your God-man self, there's never any negative consequences to anything because you're in alignment with God. Your will is aligned with God's will. So there are no negative consequences because everything happens for a reason. All things work for good for those who believe in God and are called according to his purpose. So when you believe in God, you're called according to his purpose. You're living on purpose. Now everything is working for good. What's working for good? Everything, because in God's world, there is only good. He created everything, all of creation, all the creatures, all the creators, and he said it is good. We bit into the lie and started to become judge. But we're not meant to judge. The only way we can judge, if we're judging God's creation, you can't judge God's creation. God already judged his creation. He said it's good. So the only thing that you can judge is your creation. And your creation isn't good because all good things come from God. So if you see anything other than good, you made that up. You misperceived reality. You got a veil between you and the truth. You're living inside of a lie. And what you believe to be true is true for you, even if it's bullshit. And you can make something not real more real than real. And so the operating system, the Adam operating system for men is they blame. See, the first thing Adam did, like he was meant to be a king. He's meant to be taking dominion, subduing all of creation and taking dominion. And the serpent has his wife eat the fruit. First of all, like he let that happen. Like a king doesn't let that happen. But then if that does happen, a king doesn't do what Adam did. What Adam do? First of all, he let it happen. He let his wife eat the fruit. Then what did he do? He blamed the woman. And a king never blames. The Adam operating system blames the woman, blames the circumstances. The Adam operating system is passive. He just lets things happen. He'll just let her eat the fruit. She really wants the fruit. I don't want to piss her off. So if she wants the fruit, then I'll just let her have it. But that's not what a king does. King doesn't know. King draws the line, says, no. We're not going to eat that fruit. God says no, and I'm saying no. And that's not going to happen, not here in this kingdom. Then the Adam operating system then starts to perform. So he blames, he's passive, but then because he's now in debt, now there's all these problems because he's passive and then he blamed. Now he's like, okay, what do I do to fix it? And so he starts to perform. He starts to try to figure out how to make up for the problem. But performing to make up for the problem is just reinforcing the problem. Because it's like a wound that's festering inside. And you're not actually fixing the wound. You have to go back into the actual source of the problem. to fix the wound. You can't just keep layering stuff on top of it, just putting a Band-Aid on it and then putting a Band-Aid on your Band-Aid because it's bleeding through, and then putting a Band-Aid on the Band-Aid because it's bleeding through. There's a wound, and there's something in the wound, and you've got to take all the Band-Aids off, and you got to get inside of what's in that wound that's making it stay infected. And so performance, that's what Adam will do. He'll just perform. He keeps putting another Band-Aid on top, another Band-Aid on top, another Band-Aid on top. You don't deal with the darkness by denying it. You deal with the darkness by bringing the light into it and bringing it into the light. And so, like performing is always running away from. It might feel like you're running towards something, but you can't possibly run towards something, because where you're coming from is where you're going. And so if you're thinking you're going to get somewhere in the future, then what you know for sure is where you're coming from is where you're going. Wherever you might think you're getting somewhere, but all you're doing is reinforcing where you actually already are. And so that's what performance is. It's always a running away, because true power comes from your ability to be. Where's true power come from? Your ability to be, and your ability to be unconditionally. Your beingness, your presence is not conditioned upon the conditions. Jesus showed us the way. Jesus is the way. He was able to be perfectly present while hanging on a cross. And so he says, everything I've done, you will do in greater. So if he can be perfectly present and say, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do, while he's hanging on a cross getting murdered for something that he didn't even do. If he can do that, then we can handle our women. You with me? Men, you with me? I know there's women on here as well. Women, this is the God-Man Challenge. Women, you are absolutely welcome to be here as well. We are encouraged to be here. We thank you for being here. Women, you are created as helpmeet. You're here to assist the men. The men are taking orders from headquarters. We've been given our missions and our purpose, and then the women are here to get up underneath that, to say, okay, we're driving, and y'all are supposed to be making sure the air conditioner's nice, making sure they've got some good music on, making sure the kids got their snacks and everything's good. You're gonna let us know if we need to pull over and pee, because man doesn't like, we're going. No, we ain't peeing. We're going. We're gonna get there. We're focused. We're driving. But the woman's like, hey, honey, do you need to pee? No, I don't need to pee, man. I don't need to pee. Let's go. Well, when she says, honey, do you need to pee? She's not asking if you need to pee. She's saying she needs to pee. And so it's being present, and you got to train your woman up. Hey, you don't just ask me if I need to pee. Woman, you tell me you need to pee, and then we'll pull over and we'll pee. But you be with her. You be with her feelings, her emotions, because she's most of her life, she's probably been taught that she doesn't matter. Her feelings don't matter. And so the reason she's asking you if you need to pee is because she doesn't think she matters and her feelings matter. So that's coming from a trauma, the way that she's asking that. So it's your role to make space for her feelings, and let her know that her feelings matter, so that she can actually share with you what she's feeling, instead of having to passively do it from the backside, sneaking in the back door or in the window. She can actually just tell you what she wants. Everybody know what I'm talking about right now? So the Adam operating system, he blames, he's passive, and then he performs. And then when he performs and it's not enough, then he hides. And so that's what that's gonna end today. With the Eve operating system, she's controlling. She moves into protection because she's afraid. Because the women do not feel safe. Like they just men don't even know what men might have moments in their life where they don't feel safe, like, oh crap, this thing's happening. But women have an underlying feeling of not being safe. And that's fair, because they were meant to be provided for and protected by men. And the men are not providing and protecting right now, because the men are hiding and blaming the women, because they're terrified of the women, because the men don't know what to do. And they're blaming and whining and hiding and terrified of the women, because the women's emotions are so big, and they don't know what to do. The women don't know what to do with their emotions. The men don't know what to do with their emotions. So the men are just like, they think they're supposed to fix her. If I could just fix her, then everything's going to be okay. But you can't fix her. So then you go start fixing cars. Like, I'm going to go work on my car. And you're in your shop all day working on your car, fixing it. Because I feel like I'm a man. I feel like I'm doing something. because the man wants to fix, but that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be present. So power comes from your ability to be present unconditionally. And then when you can have perfect presence unconditionally, then you're going to watch your world start to transform easily and effortlessly. You're not going to be doing it. It's going to be done already, because once you're following God, see when Jesus went to the cross, before he went to the cross, he prayed 3 times and he said, God, please, if there's any other way, let me go another way. Let me do something different. And he's praying and sweating blood because he does not want to do this. But he's preparing for the moment before the moment comes. He's getting present for this moment that he knows he says, my flesh is weak. My spirit is strong, but my flesh is weak. And so he's preparing his spirit to be able to overcome his flesh in impossible circumstances. And so he's growing his spirit, and he's preparing for presence. He's preparing for peace. So that's what we talk about here at the Earthwaking Village. What we're doing here is preparing for peace. While most of humanity is preparing for war, they're either preparing for war by getting ready to go to war, or they're preparing for war by trying to build a bunker, a bomb shelter, metaphorically or real speaking. I mean, there's plenty of people on the planet, like all the billionaires have bunkers now. They're preparing for a big war. And so most of humanity is preparing for war. Either they're getting their guns together, or they're figuring out how they can go and hide. And hopefully it passes them and doesn't get to them. But we're at Earthwaking, we're not preparing for war, we're preparing for peace. And how we prepare for peace is you face it within or without, by chance or by choice. Either way, you're going to face it. Face what? Your fears, your lies, and your judgments. So we're facing it by choice. It'll be done with you when you're done with it. How you know you're done with it is when you love it. Resistance breeds persistence. What you fight against, you create. So we're not fighting against anything. We're being present to whatever shows up. We're being present to the present of the present. Whatever the present brings, we're present to it. And we're transcending all the things that the world is running away from right now. We're running towards it while everybody else is running away from it. And so it's done. So again, you face it within or without, by chance or by choice. We're facing it by choice. Because if you don't find the fear and the lie and the judgment before it finds you, it will hunt you down. Wherever you go, there you are. And those fears, lies, and judgments are inside of you. So people are thinking they're going to be able to escape from this, but no, it's going to come hit them from behind. And so we're doing the work. We're facing it all. So back to what I was saying about the Eve operating system, the women, they're terrified all the time. Like there's an underlying lack of safety always inside of it. It's like always there until they're in the presence of a God-man. And even then, even when they actually get in the presence of a God-man, that there's actually a container built around them, a divine dome, they still have, like, it's going to take them a while to transcend. We do the wrong thing so long the right thing feels wrong. So it still takes them a while to transcend that. So even, once you become a God man and you hold a space, you have a covering for a woman or the women, your children. Once you do that, it's still going to take time, and it takes time. You're going to be done already. But even when you're done, there's going to be time. You're going to be tested, and that test is great. It doesn't matter anymore. You don't mind that they're going to keep testing you for a while, but they need to go through that process because they don't trust, and they would be insane to trust. The women would be insane to trust the men. Thank God they don't trust the men, because the men can't be trusted until they become God men, and they're very rare to find a God man. So women are meant to follow men, but they're only meant to follow men that are following God. So if a woman is following a man who's not following, she's setting herself up for hell. But actually, he's following her. And they don't realize that, but any man who's not following God is following either a woman or women. If a man is not following God, he's either following a woman or women. And so even if a woman is following a man, that she thinks she's following a man, but he's not following God, he's actually following her. And so the man is order, the woman is chaos. And so he's actually following chaos. The one who's supposed to bring order is getting sucked into chaos. And so it's going to be hell for both of them. So a woman should never submit to an unsubmitted man. And so the God man comes from submission. You get the authority of God when you submit. So submit means to place yourself under the authority of. So once a man places himself under the authority of God, he gets the badge. It's like you know, let's just do the government, for example. There's, certain ranking in the government where you get a little badge. Okay, cool. Because I have this authority from the United States government. I have this authority, so I can do this. And you're using the authority of the government, but the government gave you that authority, but only to the people who submitted to the government, who went through the process of submission further and further and further. The more submitted, the more authority they get. And so that's the way it is with God. You submit, the more submitted to God you are, the more of his authority you get, because it's his authority passing through you. You become his hands and feet. You become his mouth. And so, of course, you get his authority because it's his authority passing through you. And so when his authority passes through you, then all of a sudden, Jesus can walk on water and he can tell the storms to calm down. And he can tell all of creation what to do because the Father is the one that told it what to do in the first place. So the Father's the one who can tell it what to do. And Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Nothing I've done on my own, but of the Father. I'm just listening. I'm taking orders from headquarters. I'm doing what he's telling me to do. That's why I have so much authority. And so that's what we're being called into as men, is to submit ourselves to God. We've received God's authority. And then when we do that, the women are going to submit as well. And then when the women submit, then the children are going to submit. That's the divine design. But most of humanity, most families, the man is not looking at God, so he doesn't feel enough because he's looking at his woman. And as long as he's looking at his woman, he's never going to feel enough because you don't get your enoughness from your woman. You get your enoughness from God. That's where your identity doesn't come from your woman. Your identity comes from God. But most men are thinking, if I could just get me a good woman and she can really love me and she's like awesome in every way, then I'll finally feel like I'm good enough. I succeeded. And they're trying to get the identity from the woman, but it doesn't work. You get your identity from God. And once you have that, then your woman will get her identity from God through you, and then the child will get their identity. The children will get their identity from God through the mother, through the father, from God. And so, but most of the time, see, men are trying to get their identity from women, and women are trying to get their identity from their children. Women are thinking, if I can just raise a good kid, if I can raise the perfect child, and they're perfect in every way, yay, then I'm a good mom, that's my identity. I'm a good mom, which means I'm finally worthy of love. I did it. So to the same degree, the man is looking at the woman, if I could just make her happy and she can just be awesome, I did it. I'm a good man. And the woman's like, if I can just raise the perfect child and be perfect, then I'm a good mom. But because we're getting the identities the wrong direction, what's happening is the child is supposed to be following, but instead they're leading. And so they've got this emotional storm going on, and like a little baby, a little 2-year-old, they don't have any control over their emotions. And we're not supposed to be controlling our emotions, by the way. Feelings are meant to be felt, not followed. And you don't want emotions driving the car, but you don't want to stick them in the trunk either. You want them to be, hey, everybody say all emotions are welcome here. So the emotions, like you're supposed to be feeling. We're not here to feel happy. We're here to feel fully. So you're supposed to be feeling the emotions, not following the emotions. But so there's a little toddler that's got storms. They don't know what to do with their emotions. And so then that triggers all the emotions inside of the mom. She's already got the chaos going on inside of her because the man's following her and he's got the chaos in him because he's trying to figure out how to be enough. And she's like, I don't feel safe, because she shouldn't feel safe because she's following a man who's following her, which means they're just heading for chaos. And so that storm's going inside her, and then the little child, the storm goes off, and now she's like, and her storm goes off, and then the dad's like, oh no, I'm not enough. So the mom feels like she's not enough because the kid's not happy, and the dad feels like he's not enough because the woman's not happy, and everybody's just stuck in this sea of psychosis, swirling stew of suffering. Who knows what I'm talking about? And so we get our identity from God. Man gets the identity from God, and then boop, everything just falls into order. That's the divine design, and I'm not telling you this theoretically. I'm telling you this from experience. I've done both worlds. I know how one goes, and I know how the other goes. So, so the women are they're trying to control, and they're in protection. They're always afraid of what's gonna go. They're very they're very aware of like everything. The women are aware of everything. They're aware of everything and nothing. Like they're so attuned to everything and nothing. They're the seen and the unseen. And they're like, they'll know if there's something back there in the corner. They don't have to look back there. They got eyes in the back of their head, the front of their head, the top of their head, the bottom of their head. They got eyes everywhere because they're not safe. And so they're always like trying to protect themselves. They're trying to control all these. You'll see it with the kids. The hover mom trying to, oh honey, always trying to protect the little child. That she's doing the same thing for herself, except for maybe she's not doing it so physically. And then the Eve operating system is over functioning. It goes with that protection. She's over functioning, and so she's always feeling overwhelmed. It's like she's like running really fast, and because they're multitaskers, but they're like got all these tasks. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, gotta do that, and she's got them all running at the same time. Like, she's doing them all inside of her head and inside of her body all at the same time, but she's not physically doing it. So she can, like, a woman can be at the end of a day and not have done anything, yet feel like she's worked 50 days in one day without even doing anything, because it happened all of inside of her. And she might be, she'll probably doing a lot of stuff, but she might not. A woman can hamster wheel a whole day, like full force, running fast, full speed, and not even complete any tasks. And do that subconsciously on purpose so that she can feel overwhelmed and over functioning. And then when all that happens, then what she's going to do is she goes into withholding. She's just going to, I'm not giving you anything, I'm just going to, she closes off and withholds it all, withholds everything so the man's like wanting to feel good enough, wanting to feel appreciated and acknowledged by her. And she's not going to give it to you. And she's just going to withhold it and you're going to feel, honey, you okay? Fine. But something doesn't feel like, I feel like a big storm's a brewing right now. So she's going to withhold until that storm pops off on you. So these patterns sabotage your leadership, your marriage, your mission. In marriage, it creates disconnection. It creates power struggles. It creates duty instead of devotion. In parenting, it creates control or passivity instead of modeling kingdom leadership. In business, it creates performance and burnout instead of sovereign stewardship. And in intimacy, it creates withholding or striving instead of covenant communion. So, as you're like our homework tonight, you're going to be really reflecting on about what has your good man, your good woman mask actually cost you. And I promise you, it is more than you could possibly imagine. So, how this really started to come up. I was a highly trained good man. I got the good man curse. My dad was a good man. All the men on my dad's side, all good men. His brothers, his dad's dad, they're all really, really good men. And most of them, like we also inherited. So because we inherited the good man curse, we also inherited heart problems. Heart problems come from being a good man, right? Being a good person, because like you got this big heart, and you're trying so hard to be good, and the pressure is so much and it pops. So that's literally what happens to most of the men. Most of the men on my dad's side, they just instantly die of heart attacks. And I used to, when I was a good man, I used to have heart palpitations all the time. And I would go to the emergency room. Oh, my heart's about to explode. And they said, yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. You got heart palpitations, and you're just, one day it's just going to pop. You're just going to die. And while I was a good man, I had that. But as soon as my good man died, so did my heart problems. I've had like a little flutters of it. Maybe like I used to have it, almost every day, but at least once a month, it would be bad enough that it would, and it wouldn't stop. And I would, be feeling like I needed to go to the emergency room. I went to the emergency room many times for it. But now it's like maybe once every like 2 or 3 years, I'll have a little flutter. But other than that, it's completely gone. And so how that good man died is people don't do what they should do. They do what they must do. And See, I didn't have this. I didn't have these distinctions. I didn't have, I say the only one way to learn is through failure, but the caveat is it doesn't have to be your failure. You can learn through someone else's. So I didn't have anybody, I didn't have a God man in my life. I had a good man. My dad was a good man, and a good man that was completely closed off too. He's like, couldn't feel his feelings at all. He just completely walled off, disconnected from, because he'd failed as a good man and he didn't know what to do. So he just pretty much died, and he's just been, waiting to die for, 40 years now, 35 years. But so I was a highly trained superhero, highly trained good man. It passed down through my dad, but then my mom trained me up to make sure that I was a good man that was going to save her from all of her problems. And I was doing a really great job of it, I thought, until she's on hospice, given less than a month to live. My girlfriend at the time, I was being good for her, but it doesn't matter how hard I try. Every 3 days, the storm would happen. Like, I'm like, okay, I think I got it fixed. I got to figure it out. But every 3 days, a storm would show up inside of her, and she would just blow up and just attack me from every angle, telling me how worthless I am. And I'm like, dude, I'm doing everything that I possibly can do. I mean, literally, I built a multi-million-dollar real estate empire. I started from no money, no credit, no clue, broke, ignorant, blackout, drunk, atheist, beach bum, to building a multi-million-dollar real estate empire. So, I'm like, okay, man, that's what's going to do it. And literally, in 2 years, I'd made millions of dollars, was able to, buy us a big, nice house. We got the house, the cars, the bank account. We're going on vacation all the time and think, okay, cool. We'll take nobody has to work anymore. I built the whole thing to be a good man so I can give my family a good life. And it was my mom, my girlfriend at the time, and she had twin boys. And so I was trying to be a good man for all of them. And the more good I was, and the more good our life was, the more angry they got, the more miserable they got. And the more they attacked me, the more I'm like, what? I don't know what else to do. I invested, at that time, I invested like $300,000 in personal development because I'm just trying to figure out what to do. And I'm as a good man, I'm like, it's me. It's got to be me. I'm the problem. I'm going to fix it. And so I'm just trying to fix me so I can fix it. And no matter what I did, it was never enough, until the point my mom was on hospice, given less than a month to live. My girlfriend at the time was taking 20 Oxycontins a day. The twin boys were punching each other in the face, punching holes in the walls on drugs. And then my last ditch effort, I was like, I can fix this. My last thing, because I was just trying to figure out how to make these people happy. But my girlfriend, she had younger brothers. When she grew up, she didn't have a dad, and her mom was an alcoholic, so she was basically the mom. And so she raised her brothers, and then they turned out to be drug addicts. And so now her sons are drug addicts too. But one of her brothers just got out of prison. He was a crackhead, and he went to prison for burglary, because he was burglarizing to get stuff so he could sell for crack. And he went to prison. He gets out of prison. And he's like, John, I'm not on crack anymore, but I burnt all my bridges. Where you give me a hand up? I'm like, dun 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 dun. I put my cape on, like, maybe this is it. Maybe this will finally make my girlfriend happy. If I can just fix her brother and make him happy, then this is the thing that's going to make her happy. And so I brought him in the midst of everything. My mom dying, on hospice, all this stuff. I bring him in, and within a couple weeks, he had stole my credit card, charged it up thousands of dollars, stole my all of my tools, sold them for crack, stole my truck and her car while my mom's dying. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what am I getting? I've done everything. I've done everything right. I've been the goodest man I could possibly ever be, and this is what I get. And I laid down my head for the first time in my life. I laid down my head and said, I failed. I'm a failure. Because before that I was a good man. I'm like, it ain't over till I win. I'm just got to try harder. Just keep swinging. Sooner or later, I'm going to hit it. That's what I thought. until that moment where I laid down my head and said, I failed, I'm a failure. And in an instant, see, all change happens in an instant. How fast? In an instant. And so suddenly, everything that I thought that I had to be, it died in that moment because I couldn't be, because I'd already given I'm an all-in guy. And I'd already given everything I had to be this good man. And it wasn't enough. And there was nothing left. Like literally, I gave everything. And so now I knew for sure that I couldn't be what I was trying to be. It was literally impossible. There's nothing more for me to do to be it. And so since I knew that I couldn't be that, it died. And that was the good, so the good man died in that moment. Now it took years after that before the God man resurrected. I didn't have the distinction of God man. So the death happened, but then I was like, I stayed in the death for a while, but I started to piece together. So when we get to day 4, you're going to get the God man. There's five aspects of the God man. And so it was like the God man started rising up. And from that moment, there was like, I don't know, probably like a year where I just stayed dead. And so I didn't have a Adam operating system, and I didn't have a Christ operating system. I was like no operating system. I was just, and so, but then they started to come alive. The God man started coming alive in me. So now you get this is a 15-year journey. And so I'm going to give you a 15-year journey you're going to have in 5 days. To the degree that you can in 5 days. I'm going to give you the whole picture, and I'm going to give you the distinctions and show you where you're going. I'm going to give you the map and everything. And you're going to transform. All these things are going to occur, but to the most that can possibly happen, we're going to take those 15 years, and you're going to get it, because now you're actually going to know where you're going instead of just spiraling out in the middle of the ocean with storms hitting you from every direction. You're not wondering if there's even an island anywhere to land on that's got food or anything. You're just like shipwrecked all over the place, and just storms keep pushing around. Like I'm telling you, I made it to Kingdom Island, and I've got the map, and that's what I'm gonna be sharing with you today, or over these 5 days. So your good man, your God woman identity, those identities cannot sustain kingdom leadership because they're ego based. They are not presence based. They're past and future based. The identity is built in the past, but it's not done, because it's not perfect, because it's a lie. The ego got good man identity. It's not real. It's not a true identity. It's a made up thing. It's an illusion. And so, but it's illusion built on the past. But because it's not enough, because it's never going to be enough, because it can't be enough, because it's not even a true thing in the first place, but you're operating as it, then you're using the future for salvation. And one day I'm going to fix it. One day I'm going to be enough. And so you're torn between the past and the future. You're never even present. And so you can't sustain kingdom leadership when you're screwed up in the past, but trying to fix it in the future. It's never going to work. And so these identities, they're leading from fear, not from trust. They collapse under covenant level leadership pressure. People think they're going through tough times as a good man or a God woman. You got some big, heavy weights on your shoulders. Wait till you see what happens when you become a God man or a God woman. Wait till you see the type of leader you're being called into, the giants that you're going to be facing then. You think that what you're going through as a good man or a God woman is bad? Wait till you see the giants that show up when you step up. So you just can't sustain as a good man when you step into God territory. It's a war between spirits and principalities of darkness. It's way bigger than you can even perceive. The good man can't even see this kind of stuff. And so, and we're moving into the end of the illusion of time. Things are heating up like crazy right now. And there's a time for the good men to die and the God men to rise, because if you don't do that now, you're not going to survive what's coming, and you're definitely not going to thrive what's coming. But if you'll be able to face this on the inside, you're going to be able to face what's coming on the outside. And so these good man, God women, they collapse under the covenant level leadership. And so you're here right now because there's something deeper in you that already knows you cannot carry what you're called at your current level. You've been called into something. Who feels like you've been called into something? You've been called to step into something bigger, something greater. And so, and you know that you can't do it at your current level of awareness of embodiness. Something has to change. That's what is happening at this God-Man challenge. So there's only one identity that you've not yet embodied. This is the one thing that changes everything, and that is the God-forged leader. You're gonna become the God-man or the God-woman. That's the one identity. When that thing shifts, when that rises up in you, but it can't rise up until you die. There's got to be a death and then a resurrection. That thing, that your true identity cannot resurrect until you crucify the nice guy, until we take the masks off and then we let this whole thing die. And that's what we're going to be doing the first 3 days. And then we're going to go through the forge. Today we're taking off our masks. We're taking off the shield so the flames can start hitting us, because we want to be flamed. We want to be in the forge. We want to be purified and refined. We're not trying to we're not bringing out our swords and shield to keep the darkness at bay or to keep the flames at bay. We're actually taking off all the swords, all the shields, all the masks, everything. And then we're going to prepare. Tomorrow we go into the forge. And then the next day, after we've been forged, now we wipe off all of the dead body and throw it away. And then on day 4, that's when we rise up as the God-Man. And then day 5 is when we start to walk in the world that the God-Man creates. So the God-forged leader, you lead from covenant identity, not from performance. You're trusted by heaven with legacy. You embody leadership in marriage, family, mission, and wealth. And you teach, and you'll know that that leader cannot emerge until the old one dies, and you cannot crucify what you won't confront. So these today we're about to go into the next segment, which is the next section, which is Q&A, and we're going to start facing it, because we're going to start taking our masks off. We're going to start telling on our masks. We're going to tell on what we've been doing. And so you cannot crucify what you won't confront. And so we have to confront it. We have to own it. We have to repent, lay this thing down. So that's what today is, taking the mask off. And we're not going to be learning more. This is about dying to what no longer serves. So today's activation, you're going to have homework. If you haven't seen, we have the in the signal groups. If you're not in the signal groups, make sure you get plugged into that. Can somebody put the 2 signal group links in the chat? There's one for the God men and there's one for the God women. So if anybody's not plugged in there, make sure you plug in the signal groups. And also, can somebody put the workbook in the chat? Or if you just do, you can either put the workbook, or if you just put the everybody should have the thank you page that brought you here. So if you go on that thank you page, it's got both the signal links and it's got the workbook. So you want to make sure you get that workbook downloaded and printed out, and you're going to have homework each day. And so we're about to go into the Q&A, some breakthrough session here. Mel's coming in, and so you're not just going to get to hear it from me, because you're going to get to experience, because it's not a me, it's a we. And that's one of the most important things as you rise up as a God-man. It's everything's a we. A good man doesn't really get what we means. He doesn't get the we-ness between us. And so there's no way I could possibly do that. Like, it's not even saying there's no way I could possibly do this without Mel. It doesn't even give justice to the reality of what I'm talking about, because it is us. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do, here, look, here's Mel. There she is, right? But I'm going to play a song, and we'll do the song again that we played earlier, and we'll take just a few minute break while that song's playing, and then we're getting ready for the Q&A breakthrough. We're going to start to confront our masks and crucify them. All right, so great job. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Pat on the back. Great work. Laying a solid foundation. So let's get ready. I'm going to play the song, and then let's get ready for our first chance to start owning our masks and laying them down.
I was taught to be steady, be kind, play it right. hold her close without the fight. But I gave and I gave till my soul disappeared. Love like a servant, still lost what I feared. They called me a good man, said I did all I could, but my crown gathered dust where a king once stood. She didn't need nice, she needed a real, not a man who performs, but a man who can feel. I chased her fire, but I lost my flame. Built a world while I forgot my name. Then you came in the wreckage and the ash in the end and said, son, now's the time, let the fire begin. From good man to God man, I buried Adam in the dirt, let the mask fall with the hurt. No more shame, no more blame, no more plan B. From good man to God man, let the counterfeit die so the king in me can breathe. From good man to God man, I was sent, not selected, I'm a God man. I let the fire make me free. From good man to God man, I rise. I remember her fire cut like a knife, but now I see it was carving new life. She mirrored the places I didn't want seen, demanded the man, not the broken machine. I'm not here to be safe, to be praised, to be sweet. I'm here to hold glory at the soles of my feet. So I speak with truth and I stand in flame, and I love like a lover who ain't playing no game. Yeah, I used to shrink, I used to hide, but now I bleed presence and I breathe in the bride. You gave me the sword, you gave me the ring. You said, take your throne, son, let her feel the king. From good man to God man, I buried Adam in the dirt, let the mask fall with the hurt. No more shame, no more blame, no more plan B. From good man to God man, let the counterfeit die so the king in me can breathe. From good man to God man, I was sent, not selected, I'm a God man. I let the fire make me free. From good man to God man, I rise. I'm done asking to be chosen. I was made to carry heaven, not just for me, but for my son, for my queen, for the legacy to come. Let the silence be broken, let the fire fall. Let the boy in me die so the father can call. I don't flinch in the heat, I don't beg to be seen. I wear the weight, I lead the dream. From good man to God man, I buried Adam in the dirt, let the mask fall with the hurt. No more shame, no more blame, no more plan B. From good man to God man, let the counterfeit die so the king in me can breathe. From good man to God man, I was sent, not selected, I'm a God man. I let the fire make me free. From good man to God man, let the fire fall.
All righty, right. Welcome back, everybody. So let's go ahead and start taking some shares. Who's ready and willing, or at least willing, to confront their masks, to confront their good man, their good woman? And you got Mel and I both here. So this is Q&A. You can ask any questions, and then also if we want to do some breakthroughs or something, we can do all that as well. So what's coming up? I mean, if we could just, maybe that might be a little pressure on some people right now since we're just starting. This is just day one. Maybe if you just share.
I got some, John.
Okay, let's go.
I'm gonna serve the village.
All right, go ahead, buddy.
So yeah, like in the past week, I've really been feeling like I've been getting spiritually attacked. And specifically around the fear, like there's been a fear of like Sarah leaving. So it's bringing up like an unworthiness within myself. Um, so yeah, and I'm also noticing like the control, like codependency wants to rise up.
Uh,
And
Kids, is there any way for y'all, like where the camera is, can you put a chair up next to the camera and sit in front of it? Whoever's talking, I know it's you, Dennis, but whenever somebody comes from the village to,
There he goes.
yeah, come up there to the, over, yeah, there you go, cool. Oh, but you can't see us from, we're gonna be giant right there next to you, huh? All right, cool. So you've got you got some sort of spiritual attack going on because you're a God man. And so what's the question?
um, I don't know if it's a question or not. I'm just sharing because I'm ready to be done with this fear. Like it's something that I noticed that I experienced in a past relationship, and I just know it. I know it's not God, and it's not serving anyone. It's not serving myself. It's not serving my wife or the community. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, so that is, that's your the thing that is getting attacked is your good man. That's the only thing that can get it. The God man, the, the demons were afraid of Jesus. When Jesus showed, the demons were attacking people. When Jesus showed up, the demons were terrified and they're like, "No, don't hurt me." So the one that's getting attacked is the good man. The God man doesn't have any fear of being left whatsoever. There's like doesn't enter into his experience. But we're not at God man like in this point of the challenge. You're doing that's you what you brought is absolutely perfect because you are revealing your mask, which is the good man who's afraid of being left. And so let's first of all, that's the first step. You did great by just bringing it out. What is it? GI Joe, what knowing is half the battle. I think that was wasn't that GI Joe, knowing is half the battle. Uh, but knowing and then bringing the darkness into the light and the light into the darkness. That's the biggest, the heavy lifting. So go ahead. You got something?
Just feeling into that, and to me it sounds like this insecurity, and I can just the same thing that Jonathan's saying, just sharing that it just feels like it, this you had this with a past relationship. It feels like it's hitting that same wound, and it needs to. And so it's nice. I love that you have this container that you're going to be free of this, because in place of that insecurity is this unwavering strength and solid man. And it doesn't matter what's happening outside of you. It doesn't matter what's happening inside of Sarah. It doesn't matter. Like, you don't have any fear of her leaving, and and that's so magnetic. And it's so magnetic, and it's actually the antidote to that fear.
All right. So let's do a resistance release on this. When we do the release, we're actually going to be when we do the I am at the end. That is the God man or God woman is the one that's saying the I am. And so it is a little premature going into that, but that's what I feel is called for right now. Is let's just do the release of fear of getting. Is it rejected?
um, yes, that
Do you
would be.
feel if you got left, you would feel rejection?
It would confirm the unworthiness part.
Oh yeah. So I got rejected because I'm not worthy. Um, let's do the rejection thing because I know before I met, and then we got Bianca saying abandoned. Um, before I met Mel, okay, so the women are feeling so the women's is abandoned, the men is rejected. Because before I met Mel, um I did I would I God had been telling me to make an offer, and I would not do it. I'm like, that's not spiritual, God's, money, that's not spiritual, because I was being spiritual guy at that point. my good man had died, and I'm just trying to be a God man, but I still didn't know what that meant. And so I had a rejection of the world, the world stuff, the good man, the bad man, all that stuff, but I didn't have the replacement for it, because everything in the world, there's a counterfeit version of everything that's true. There's a divine, anything that you see out there in the world, like there's an antichrist because there's a Christ. So there's all these counterfeit versions of an actual divine thing, and so there's a divine aspect. So as far as like, making offers, well, I had never even asked a woman out my entire life, and it was the same reason why I wouldn't make the offer, because I was terrified of rejection more than most. And I remember when I finally made the first offer, I was completely rejected by. I had a fiance at the time. She wound up was banging this dude that was the guy who I was hosting my event at. Most of you have heard this story already. And the dude was there. I'm at his place with his friends and his people, and they're all just like, just seeing me as this little piece of crap. And while I'm doing my event, and then I make my offer at the end, and nobody takes my offer. And so I just felt full on rejection. It was just as much as you could possibly feel rejected. I felt it. And um, after that, I'm like, well, I'm still alive. That didn't kill me. I'm still here. And then God said, all right, now do the event again. It was called Awaken Your Destiny. And then my offer was Spiritual Capitalist Mastermind. And so I did it again. And then I did it again. Like, I was doing it at least once a week. And it was like the third time, I believe, is when Mel showed up. And then, but now I'm used to making offers because I'm not afraid of being rejected anymore. And so now that I'm no longer afraid of being rejected, it's like, I don't mind making the offer. But you'll never even make the offer. Michael Jordan, best basketball player who ever existed, and he missed more game-winning shots than he made. But that's because he took more. He missed more shots than most people will ever take their entire lives. And so it doesn't matter if you make the shot; it just matters that you take the shot. If you never take the shot, then you have zero chance of making the shot. But most people would rather never take the shot and not find out if they were a loser, because they think if I miss, then I'm a loser. I'm not enough. And so once I was no longer afraid of being a loser, that was gone. My fear of being rejected, my fear of being a loser, was gone because I'd already done it. Like, I can't be any more rejected, any more of a loser than I am. So it's just up from here. And so by the time Mel showed up, I'm cool with making offers, relatively cool with making offers. And then she took my offer. Then she showed up. It was like a couple months later. She showed up to the mastermind, the Spiritual Capitalist Mastermind. And after the event was over, I walked up to her, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I just I'm a really great listener, and here's my business card. If you ever want to give me a call and talk, I'm a great listener, and we have some great conversations. And I gave her my business card, and then she took it and she literally just picked up her shit and walked out the door. Didn't say a word to me. I'm like, huh. But the interesting thing is I did not feel rejected at all. Now that looked like, full on, like that looked like the most rejected as I could have been, but I didn't feel rejected because I didn't have that in me anymore. I didn't have the fear of rejection, so I didn't feel rejection. I only felt it before because I had the fear of it. But now, because it's the God man rising up in me, a God man can't be rejected because he's already accepted by God. And I don't get my identity from people. I get my identity from God. And so whenever I said that to Mel, she just walked out. But so then I found her on Facebook and I reached out. I'm like, hey, I just, want to reach out to you. Just, just telling you, because I had this phrase, I think it came from Rumi. It says, bring out that which is within you, or something about like if you keep it in, it'll control you, but if you bring it out, it'll free you, whatever the thing is you're hiding. And so I reached out to her and said, hey, I have these feelings for you, and I'm just bringing it out because I want to be free of it. I don't want these feelings to control me. So I'm just, even though you just walked out the door, didn't even talk to me. I'm putting it out there. And then she reached back out to me, and she was very authentic, very real. And she's like, I have the feelings for you too. And so that was all gone. And, and, so your fear of rejection is because you're still trying to get your identity from your woman, and rather than God. Once you get your identity from God, you literally, you cannot be rejected. If you've got your identity from God and your woman rejects you, she's not rejecting you, she's rejecting herself. Or she's not your woman. It's either she's not your woman or she's rejecting herself. So you literally cannot get rejected anymore. But let's just go ahead, let's do the release. So we're going to let go of the fear and then let go of the desire, and we're going to step into the truth. We'll do rejected and abandoned.
And my walking out that day had nothing to do with him. And had he not reached out to me, had he not had those breakthroughs, he would have assumed that my walking out had something to do with him, and it did not. I was just in this crazy place in my life, and I had just left a relationship, and I had assumed that I was going to give myself like a year to even talk to another man, because I had seriously equated like a man with a cage, and I had to find myself first, whatever that was going to mean. And so that was my plan. And God's plans don't ever make sense. They always never make sense. So
How was it to experience a man who just shared authentically and vulnerably? Because the only reason I could do that is because I didn't have fear of rejection anymore. When I just reached out to her and just shared everything that's going on inside of me, what was that like when you received?
it was very refreshing. I mean, you guys all know, because we're pretty authentic with each other around here. You know, Earthwaking is authenticity. And so just to find one other person on the planet that was being authentic was surprising and refreshing. And I wanted more of that, and it was magnetic.
Yeah, and so that specifically came because I did not have any fear of rejection. So when you wall up when you're afraid of getting rejected, but once you don't have that anymore, you're completely authentic, but because you got your identity from God, and then there's no more. You know that if anybody is rejecting you, they're not actually rejecting you. They're either rejecting themselves, or they're just not supposed to be in your realm, your reality at that time. Either way, it's no big deal. So, all right, let's close our eyes and let's all take a deep breath in. Let it all go. You're just going to repeat after me. I have the power of a God mind. Nothing in this universe can stop the power of a God mind.
Nothing in this universe can stop the power of a God mind.
I release my resistance of being rejected and abandoned.
I release my resistance of being rejected and abandoned.
I release my resistance of being rejected and abandoned.
I release my resistance of being rejected and abandoned.
I release my resistance of being rejected and abandoned.
I release my resistance of being rejected and abandoned.
I release my resistance of being rejected and abandoned.
I release my resistance of being rejected and abandoned.
I release my fear of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my fear of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my fear of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my fear of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my fear of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my fear of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my fear of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my fear of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my hate of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my hate of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my hate of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my hate of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my hate of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my hate of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my hate of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my hate of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my terror of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my terror of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my terror of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my terror of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my terror of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my terror of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my terror of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my terror of getting rejected and abandoned.
I release my desire to get accepted and chosen.
I release my desire to get accepted and chosen.
I release my desire to get accepted and chosen.
I release my desire to get accepted and chosen.
I release my desire to get accepted and chosen.
I release my desire to get accepted and chosen.
I release my desire to get accepted and chosen.
I release my desire to get accepted and chosen.
I accept I am accepted and chosen and always have been.
Except I am accepted and chosen and always have been.
Except I am accepted and chosen and always have been.
Except I am accepted and chosen and always have been.
Except I am accepted and chosen and always have been.
Except I'm accepted and chosen and always have been.
I accept I am accepted and chosen and always have been.
Except I am accepted and chosen and always have been.
I am accepted.
I am accepted.
I am chosen.
I am chosen.
And so it is.
And so it is.
All right, great job, Dennis. Let's all give it up for Dennis. I'm going to leave you with that, Dennis. You did perfect for day one. We're just exposing our mask, which you did exactly what was meant to do. So I want to open up for some more shares from other people. But thank you, Dennis. That was absolutely perfect. And on day 4, so over the next 3 days, we're gonna be letting go of that mask. Then we're going to go into the forge. And then we're going to let go of that good man. We're going to kill the good man, God man identity. And then on day 4, you're going to resurrect the God man, the God woman. So all that stuff's going to be gone. All right. I saw Yarixa had the hand up next. So welcome.
Hi, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me fine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you were going through everything that you said today, I was thinking that that what I needed was to like learn how to just speak up. But then after the release, I saw that I think it was more of like feeling like I was gonna be rejected or abandoned. But what I was going to say, because the thing that came to mind was, so when I was little, I was like from 5 to 7 years old. I was being molested by my grandfather, and when I was 14, I finally told my parents what had happened, and my dad said that it's his dad, and he said he didn't believe me. And so, because he didn't believe me, and also because he said that if I said anything, then it would like cause a lot of trouble, I just never told anyone else. And so I had been quiet, about that the whole time. The only thing that happened was that they didn't make me, because every summer I used to go to my grandparents' house, but they didn't make me do that anymore. But that was about it. And then I noticed that like last year I was at the park and there was like a guy that didn't have any kids, and he was recording my kids and my friend's kids. And so I told my friend, like, oh, look at that guy over there, like he has his phone out and he's recording the kids. So she automatically didn't even see the guy yet. She turns around and starts yelling at him to stop recording our kids. And so what that brought up in me was, if I saw it first, why didn't I speak up? Why didn't I tell him to stop recording my kids? Why didn't I stand up for my kids? And so that brought up like, oh, why is it that I'm not speaking up when I feel threatened or when I see something that's going on like that, especially when it's my kids involved, because like I want to protect my kids. And so then ever since then I've been like wanting to be less of a good woman and less staying quiet for other people to get away with whatever, like, because what is it gonna do? Like if I do speak up, like it's gonna, like, I don't know what I'm afraid of. And so it's crazy that now I met you guys and that I've been listening for what it is that I'm going through and understanding more. But yesterday, I had like a crazy day with my mom. Like we butt heads a lot, and mostly because, well, I've always felt like she's probably not my real mom, and like there's a secret there, and there's a lot of why I think that. But she's always said that when the DNA test secret proves that years old now, and the DNA test has never happened, so I don't know. But what I do know is that I've always felt like she just didn't love me enough. But yesterday, what came up was that, like, why? Because, okay, so he was touching me, my grandfather was touching me, but I had a mushroom experience where I remembered the whole situation, and then I remember after I was in the room for being a bad girl and these things happening to me, my brother was being punished too, and he was going in the room after me. But I, in the moment, never realized what was happening to my brother as well, because I was just so confused as to what did I do wrong that I have to go through this, And then, my mom being a Jehovah's Witness and me growing up going to their church, I always felt like, well, why did God want this for me? Why is it that I have to go through this? And I always just thought about myself but never of my brother. And my brother, he's dead now. He was murdered when he was 22, and it's been 5 years. But throughout his whole life, he did worse than me. Like he was suicidal every single day of his life, and it's just because I spoke out at 14, but he never did. He never told us. And when I remembered that, like, it was just so sad. And then I ended up telling my mom about it. And so yesterday she was saying how, like, it hurts her so bad that, what was happening to my brother, and that if she would have just known, then she would have done something about it. And so when she said that, it triggered me, like, okay, well, why did you do anything for me? I spoke out. I told you what was going on. I told you. And she was like, well, because she's like, well, he was in Mexico. And I was like, so, like, you should have not let me be quiet. You should have told the whole family. You should have told people that, this man is what he, like, like this, so they know, everybody knows that this man is doing this, because if he did it to me, he did it to my brother, like, I'm sure he did it to other people. And so my mom was like, well, because after that, it was a letter that I wrote them, after reading, and they read it in their minds, like, in front of me. And so she said that after that event, when I told them, my dad told my mom that if she was to speak out, that he was going to blame her and make it all about her, like that it was her fault that this happened. And so that's why she didn't speak out for me. And I was like, seriously? Like, you chose this, your husband, like, which is my father, but it's like, ever since then, like, me and my dad have never really had a relationship. He's still here. I live with him. But we still literally, like, just say hi and bye, and that's about it. And I've confronted him recently, and then in that occasion, my mom was like, oh, well, can you stop? Can you stop telling him anything? Because, and I was like, why? If it's the truth. And I want to know, like, what does he remember of my childhood? Because what I remember is not good. And I just want to know, like, what's going on. Like, I want to fix our relationship, but I can't fix anything if I don't know what he's thinking. And so she's like, yeah, but she's like, I was like, so it's all truth. And so I'm not saying anything that's not true. And then she was like, yeah, well, stop telling him his truth, because it's just making everything chaotic. And now he's putting everything against me, like he's going against her instead of like, and so she doesn't want to deal with that. And so I told her, oh, okay, so you want me to be quiet again? And so it's just like a reoccurring thing where like I'm being told to be quiet, and she's like, well, the whole family knows now about like my grandpa. And I'm like, well, yeah, the whole family knows now because I finally decided to speak out about it. But even then, I said my grandpa, so it could be from either side. I didn't say this man, like I still haven't had the courage to be like this man, because I'm still afraid that they're going to come back and say something to my dad or something. I don't know exactly, but so that's where I'm at right now. now where I'm just trying to figure it all out.
Well, thank you for sharing.
I don't even know what I'm figuring out. But yeah.
Yeah, so that was really great that you opened up and shared. And I want to just say to the men, great job being here at this place, the God Man Challenge, where you're taking responsibility for being a God Man. So the I talked about earlier how the women they're terrified. Like their whole life there's an underlying fear. And I talked about like when you're driving down the road and they're like, "Honey, do you need to go to the bathroom?" They don't just say, "Hey, I need to go to the bathroom," because they've been so trained to shut up that their voice doesn't matter. Just be seen and not heard. That was Mel's thing. And but the women need to be heard, but they need to be heard inside of a container, inside of a space that the God men hold. And so first, I'm going to apologize on the behalf of the men in the world. We've been lost in the darkness. We have not been there. And these things have been happening because the God men are the leaders, but they've not been present. We have not been present, and we're rising up now. So thank you all the men who are here right now, because that ends with us. Like that stuff that's happening. I mean, it's a man that did that to a little girl and a little boy. So that's over now, and we're the ones that are putting the end to that, because we've made the decision. It's over, and it's great that this space is held here, because you can see she's opening up. She's like, my feelings do matter, my voice does matter, and she can actually start to share in this space. And so that's thanks to you, all the men who are here right now. So thank you all for holding that space. Anything coming up for you right now, Mel?
Also, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate your courage, and we all appreciate your courage. And in a way, the men got to have an experience of holding the space for all that, because you can imagine being in relationship with someone. It doesn't, it comes usually to you as a pretty package. You're not really going to show up on your first date opening up all that, but that's what's inside there, and that's what doesn't go away, and that's what's asking to be resolved. And it was asking that probably of your mother too, and she wasn't able to, and she kept quiet, and she kept that program going, and it controlled her, and she hated seeing that same program coming through you. But you're courageous now, and there's something that's being asked to be resolved within you. And so that's going to be, your journey. And we usually don't take that journey. The other thing that was coming up is I can see a lot of us, like your mother, we don't even dip our toe in, because we're so terrified of what might be on the other side of letting go, of opening our voice, of saying the terrifying thing, because it might mean that you lose people. It might mean that you disrupt things. You don't know what's on the other side of that. And it's a really scary thing to say yes to.
I see and feel your feeling right now. What's coming up in you? Why are you feeling so much in this? What is that?
Just knowing what's possible if you just believe and you just keep on that path, and just seeing that gap and knowing what's in that gap. It's a difficult road, and a lot of people don't travel it, but it's possible.
And anything else is insane. Thank you, Mel.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Yarixa. And thank you, men. This is what it means to be God men. We hold space. We have space for the women, for their feelings, for what they're going through, because it's not them going through it, it's us going through it. That's us. That's the repressed parts of us. They can feel the parts of us that we're not built. We're more head people, they're more emotional people. And so we're in our head all focused, they're in their emotion, having to deal with all of the stuff that's going on inside of us that we don't even know, that we're not even privy to, because we're so in our head focused. So we're all in this together. And so it's time for us to deal with our stuff. and we're going to, there's the metaphor of the canary in the coal mine. When the coal miners, they'd go into the mine, they'd take a canary and with them in a little cage, and they'd take it down there because the canary would, like, it breathes really, really fast. So it's like, uh, it would, if they would watch the canary, and if the canary died, they know there's something in the mine that, but it's going to die faster than the people, because the people are breathing a lot slower and they're bigger, but this thing, like, it's going to be impacted by the environment a lot faster than the humans will, but they are going to get it too. So they see it in the canaries first. And so that's what we need to be doing with our women, is we need to see what's going on inside of our women, because they can sense, they're more sensitive to what's off in the space, what's off in the world, what's off in our relationship. They can sense it first. They're the canaries. And so we need to be paying attention to that, because whatever they're going through, we're all going through. The men just don't know it yet because we're so focused and disconnected from our feelings. So it's time to get present with our feelings, and we do that through the women. So great job, everybody. Hunter, I see you had your hand up.
Hey,
Hey, buddy.
I guess first I want to tap into. I want to apologize to, I forget her name, Zarixa,
Yeah, Rick.
Yarixa. I was judging her, still kind of judging her, honestly. But I guess I wasn't there to see, to like, I was judging her like maybe she was putting on a show or wanted people to feel for her, and I'm the nice guy, so I'm feeling for her. And I don't know, I saw past it and was like, not really feeling it. I mean, she was showing a lot of emotion, and I see where she's coming from, but it felt like a front to me, and I apologize if I didn't see the trueness and where you were coming from, and just seeing the outside surface. So that's on me. And then next, I see my good man, and I'm trying to, confront dysfunction, and even, I don't know, I still feel like I'm doing that. Even feels like a mask, like trying to get the good man mask off and like do the confrontations and like being the sturdy one. Like even that feels like I'm doing, and I want to not do. I want to be it. So I'm confused on like that journey. I know it'll be a process, but I'm still the good man. I still don't speak up when there's times where I feel like it's right to do it, and I'm still have fear there. But you know what I'm saying? Like putting on that mask of, yeah.
Well, great. First of all, that was great that you shared authentically what you experienced with Yarixa, which that actually, what you just did there, that a good man wouldn't do that. So great job taking off the good man mask. Now so the thing that you're talking about, the doer, that we're going to deal with that on day 3. That's the performer that's inside of you that is still the identity. So there's the mask of the good man that's layered on top of the performer. So we're taking the mask off right now, which you just awesomely did. You took off your mask, and because before you would not have, as a good man, you would not have been able to even tell her that. You would have, you would have just tried to fix, whatever's going on with her. But the fact that you saw, like, okay, there's maybe this is going on, and you just shared that. Now that sets the stage to where you can actually start to be present. Now, when it comes to, like, women are going to put on performances sometime, but again, that only comes from the same thing that I keep saying. When the woman says, "Hey, do you need to go to the bath? You need to pull over and go to the bathroom?" She's not asking. I mean, she needs to go to the bathroom, but she can't ask it. So even if a woman is performing the vulnerability, it's because doesn't feel safe to do the whole thing. So it's on us. It's on the men. If a woman is ever performing rather than giving the truth, that's us. We did that. We didn't make it. The space wasn't safe for that to come through. I mean, maybe we've created the space, but we need to hold the space for longer. Maybe it is that the space is the space for it now, but they still don't trust yet because their whole life they've been dealing with not You know, we just heard Yarik's story. Not only did she get, you know, molested by a man who's supposed to be providing and protecting, but then she's also told by the, you know, her actual dad that, one, you're lying, it's not true, and then two, you just need to keep that in. You need to just, you know, you're not even allowed to feel that way, and you just keep all that stuff in. So, okay, well, I got to shut up, and I'm not allowed to share my feelings at all. And you know, that's the life that she's grown up in, and that's the life that all the women have grown up in. Like that's the world for the women. The women, that's the world that we've been living in. But again, the men are just as terrified as the women, but the men are disconnected from their terror. And so we find our terror through the women when we will allow ourselves to be with them. You got anything else coming up before we go to Cole?
Hi, Hunter. Great to see you here. Thanks for being here. What came up for me is I can imagine you've probably been manipulated by women and feeling in tears and, you know, and holding space for that. And you've probably gotten hurt for that. And so I acknowledge that. And then I can share with Yarixa, it's great to see this perspective and to start beginning that work of unmerging ourselves from what we've been trained to be and start to take an honest look and a reflection. This is our journey and our responsibility, and start to look at like, what are all of my manipulation tools? What have they been? And like, let's just start putting them out there. Because when I, you know, got into this relationship with Jonathan, I started to notice right away, like how easily manipulated he was by business partners, by people that he looked up to, respected, by women. And that's when it really started triggering me, when I could see like how easily he was able to be manipulated. And it would trigger me so bad. I would get so mad. I would feel so unsafe, all these things. But my work was to look at, well, how do I even see this? How am I even seeing any of this? I'm seeing it all because I've got my own bag of tools. And so that was my work to get started in.
Yeah, I remember when she started pointing this out to me, and I'm like, and I couldn't see it. And the reason I couldn't see it is because she was using the same tools on me. And so she had the same potion, and I don't even taste it, you know. It's just like, no, it's like I'm living in that world. So it's like there's nothing off, you know. And so she had to start owning how she was doing what they were doing, and then because she couldn't tell on them without telling on her. You know, if she told on them without telling on herself, she would still be veiling what they're doing, because she had to keep it veiled in order for you know, her to keep using it. So and that's what this day is. The day one is all about your mask. Like, what is the thing? What are the lies? How have you been controlling? So for the men, it's, where am I performing instead of leading? What mask am I wearing? What does my mask cost me? And what one behavior I'm going to kill today? That's what we're going to be working on today. That's your homework. And for the women, where am I controlling or protecting instead of trusting? What mask am I wearing? What does this mask cost me? And one behavior that I'm going to surrender today. So, you know, a manipulation is a really great one, because the women are controlling through manipulation, because they're surrounding you. They're coming around from, because they don't want to stand in front of you and show you what they're just trying to protect themselves. And so they're, you know, metaphorically poisoning your water, and you don't even know what's happening. And because if they have to hide what they're doing, because if they've been hiding their whole life, because we've made it to where they have to hide it. So just bringing it all out. What's our mask? How are you protecting? How are we controlling? How, you know, all these things. And that's what day one is about, being brutally honest with everything. You got some?
I was just going to check back in with Hunter real quick before we move to Cole, if that was okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm here.
Just checking back in with you.
Oh, okay.
How that landed.
Yeah, I was listening, received it. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to answer, but I received it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job, bud. Cole, hey, brother.
What's up, guys?
Howdy.
Yeah, I'm just seeing myself, like when you're saying God's not gonna do it for me, he's gonna do it through me. I realize I've been sitting back and being fucking passive as fuck and not taking action. And yeah, that was like one thing that really stood out to me. And I can see how this has been costing me in my leadership and my relationships as well. So just that
How's that show? How's it cost you? Like, what's the cost? What's it look like?
um I guess just not being who God's calling me to be. I know He's calling me to be somebody that I feel, I guess I just feel like I'm not ready to become that person. And like I'm like sitting back and not stepping into my destiny. So it's costing me my destiny, I would say,
All
which
right.
is which is a lot. So
Thank you. Great work.
yeah.
All right. Caleb, hey buddy. Good to see you.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at work right now, so I gotta be quick. But um, something that's really been coming up for me is especially with the past couple shares, I still got this pervy nature in me, and I know I need to let it die. Like just like literally an hour ago, I was just staring at a chick's ass, like, and I know that shit needs to die because it's not serving me, it's not serving my relationship. Um, and like I've been working so hard at trying to recognize this and get eyes on it, asking God to take it out of me, asking, well, if it's still there, why is it, how is it serving? And how it's just like, I don't know, it's this thing. It's just like, it feels like it has me. And also, like, if I can be really honest, like fear around losing my wife, if fully stepping into my purpose and really stepping into my calling, because even though she's on a very similar path, like she's not, yeah, well, she's not right where I'm at, obviously, but she's never going to be. She's who she is. But um, yeah, so I'm just feeling a lot of fear around that, around losing her, rejection. So I'm grateful for that breakthrough. That definitely felt like it hit some things in me. But um, what really feels big for me right now is just this pervy nature that I feel like I've been chipping at away at it and going so hard at it, and it's just still fucking there, man. Like it's just, I know it's like part of being a man, but still, it's like I know it's like it says in the Bible, I can if your eye stares at a booty, if I can tear that thing out, it's not helping you. So I don't know if there's anything you got for me there, but
Uh, yeah, a couple things come up. One, yeah, so yeah, like, so you're one decision away. Like had the same thing because I'm a man body. You know, our bodies are animals, and they're built to breed and feed. And so, but we are not our bodies. We are the spirit that inhabits the soul that inhabits the body. And it's becoming more and more like you go less identified with your body, more identified with your soul, and then more identified with your spirit. And then the spirit then animates the soul then animates the body. And so that's an awakening thing. And so on that so first it's the decision because once I saw that because I it was being a God man is how it happened because I'd submitted to God and then I saw Jesus my king says hey you're better to cut out your eyeball than to look at a booty. I'm like oh crap like that's a big deal. I don't because this is what my king's telling me to do and I'm like well so I got to pick do I get an eyeball or I get to look at a butt okay, I'm going to keep my eyeball and I'm not going to look at a butt. So I made the decision. Now it did take a little time for it to transcend. But so then the two things on that is one, saying so focused on your purpose that it doesn't, you know, fear is imagination running wild, faith is imagination focused. So the degree that your imagination is running wild where it's, is because it's not focused enough on the faith, on what your clear vision is and what you're being called to do and be. And once that's clear, you get distracted a lot less. But then, so this is something that's coming up. This actually worked for me. I so when I Facebook and YouTube have they're run by AI. You know, there's algorithms ran by AI that knows what you're like what you're drawn to. Like
Yeah.
it can see your little eye twitch. Like, but you don't even know it twitched, and it sees it twitch, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to show you more of this stuff. So
Yep.
my Facebook and YouTube was just filled with, you know, booties.
Yep.
So,
Mine too.
and so, but once I made the decision, it was actually perfect. It was like going to the gym, and it was like I got to transcend it. It kept me. It had. It. I actually being in there. It forced. It didn't force me, but I chose to become present to where I could, because I'd watch, like if I saw my algorithm, it's still showing me this, and that means there's still something I'm not present to. And I was actually
Yeah.
using it. I was going in there and then becoming present to where I could, I'd catch it, but like I'd catch it faster and faster and faster to where
Hmm.
my eye, and I could start to catch it, my eye before it happened. You know, I was so present that I knew what my body was going to try to look at, but I was present before it, and I started to transcend it. So I don't know, I don't know exactly how to use that, but that's just what's coming up, and like it did that to
Hmm.
where now my YouTube and my there ain't a single booty in sight on my YouTube or my Facebook. So um, and now it's like it's weird that I even did that before. It's like, you know, we do the wrong thing so long, the right thing feels wrong. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from, you know, but now it's like just like I don't get blackout drunk every night anymore. It's the same thing. Like I've done it for a while, but so I guess the first, you know, you make the decision, but yeah, it seems like counterintuitive what I'm saying is to actually go into the bar instead of like staying away from the bar. I'm like going to the bar and just not drinking. And so actually
Yeah.
that's what I did. I just went into the bar and just did and I just practiced like being present every time the reaction would want to show up. I used that reaction to actually get more present, to connect with with the spirit, with God more than, you know, the the form, the world, the body just doing whatever it's going to do. So I don't know
Yeah.
how you can use that, but that's it worked
No,
for me.
that's good. So I've been recognizing too though, like I'm being more aware, more present of this. Like I feel like the what's the word? I'm losing it now. Um, yeah, conviction. I feel like I'm feeling a lot more convicted around this now, which is a really good sign, I think.
Yeah, that's a God sign. That's the first step is the conviction, you know, the decision, the conviction, really feeling the consequence of this. And
Yeah.
then because people don't do what they should do, they do what they must do. And once you make it a must, then you just practice this thing. And now don't beat yourself up, uh, but just but also don't diminish the conviction. Like let the conviction, it's coming from the inside out. It's not outside. You're not like getting punished, beat like this. It's like let yourself feel, you know, the conviction of what you're doing. Let that remain. Don't numb that out ever, but don't use it to beat yourself up. Like, oh, I'm convicted again. Okay, great. Starting over. You know, it's not. Well, it's not. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience, and you're just gonna. It's gonna keep getting better and better, and then all of a sudden you like forget like why was I ever even looking at it in the first place? It like like that's where I'm at now. It's like, huh, that's weird. That's weird that I was ever that identity that ever was did that. So it
Mm.
just, you know, just decision, conviction, and practice.
Yeah, I can see that because like drinking feels like that for me now. Like I feel like I used to drink quite a bit too, and now it's like it feels like a different, distant past version of me now. So I can see
Yeah, same
where
thing.
this is headed. I can see where this is headed.
Yeah, so you've already done it. You did it with you know with alcohol. It's the same thing. You know what? You were just for some reason you got trained to be addicted to alcohol, and you transcended that. So you can do it with that. You can do it with this. It's the same. It's the same thing. So
Perfect. All right, cheers, buddy. Appreciate you.
all right, you too, brother. You had something, Mel?
I was just thinking, and you may have already done it, but just distinguishing, because I really see it coming through you the more your God is entrusting you with something bigger to carry. Like you're literally, your branding is God man. Like, are you going to be congruent with that, or are you just going to have that as your branding? Like, are you literally going to be that? Can I pull up your YouTube right now in front of all these people and it be clean? Yes. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
So that's another thing. Put because people don't know what they should do. They do. They must do. So put your ass on the line. Make it to where you have to do this. Like you know. But again, it can't be an outside in thing. You can't have to do it because of. But you have. It's like you have to be intrinsically motivated and make this decision, and then put yourself out there. Like, I'm this guy, from the inside out, and then be it and make it where you don't. There's no safety net. All right. Thank you. We are officially, I see Samsung's got her hand up, but we are officially, this is the end of day one. So you can come to bring your question tomorrow or whatever, share, comment, and we'll be back tomorrow, same time at 11 o'clock Central Time. You guys got your worksheets. You got your exercise, your homework for tonight. So make sure you get that handled, and we'll be back. And for day 2, where we're going to begin. So we're taking our mat, we're owning our mat. Here's our mask, and we're taking the mask off, which the mask is also the shield that's been protecting what we've been hiding. So now the mask comes off, and now we're going to go into the forge. We're going to actually let the fire purify what's been hiding behind the mask. We're going to look in the mirror, and we're going to transcend that. And then day 3 is when we then crucify the nice guy. And then day 4, we resurrect as the God man, God woman. And then day 5, we walk it out. So great job, everybody. Give yourselves another big round of applause. Big pat on the back. Let's do our little mantra thing again. I would say, no more mask.
mask.
No more roll.
No more roll.
I'm not here to fix.
I'm not here to fix.
I'm here to be whole.
I'm here to be whole.
No more mask.
No more mask.
No more roll.
No more roll.
I'm not here to fix.
I'm not here to fix.
I'm here to be whole.
I'm here to be whole.
All right. See y'all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.